Till one day she was caught in a terrible storm when she was walking home through the woods. She hit her head on a rock in the process from slipping on mud. When she woke up, she found herself chained up to a wall with other people, and there was 4 people who caught her, and each of them had tortured her, and everybody that was in there, and she watched it, and which they also gutted her too.
Explain that she gutted people.
No, the people who caught her gutted her. So that's why she's the way she is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Alright.
And it always been a day when they would return, clearing charge from the prisoners' bodies with rusted blades, consuming their very first alcohol.
Yep.
Most of them did not survive long. She was starved, infected, and mutilated after several weeks of torture. Her arms became loose in their shackles. She pulled hard, the marrow tearing through skin and muscle until she was free. She escaped, and when she couldn't go any further, she thought of home. She thought of the elders, and when her dying breath, she etched the symbols they had taught her into the floor using what remained of her fingers. Almost in response, a dark hunger stirred inside her, it yearned for blood, and oh, she chose vengeance. So when the village search party found the building where she was held at, inside its previous inhabitants had been efficiently dismantled, disembodied and devoured by an unidentified animal. In a cellar, there was a rotting corpse and disconnected flesh. The elders' charge was scour and blood on the floor, but her body was not among the bodies.
Let's see.
Yeah, and the village was never the same again. And
so which map is hers?
And the map that is hers.
That's a good point. Which one is hers?
The Blackwater Swamp.
Oh.
That makes sense.
And her name is Lisa Sherwood.
I see.
Yeah, African American too.
Go
her nickname
with...
is The Witch.
Chi Chili Dog.
Trying to figure out which set I want to run.
I'm gonna look at their stuff. By daylight. So I got hit on by a girl.
Are you serious?
Who's kind of cute. I'll admit that. Don't forget I'm biased. Well, how Blaster is like, are you serious? Like freaking out.
I was saying, never mind. You know what?
I'm never moving.
I'm just gonna focus on the stream right now.
Oh, come on, I was just messing with you, not in the sense of you know what you're probably thinking I am. I love how in the intro the guy just grabbed their arms like, come on, let's get this generator, ignore that scream. And you just hear the heartbeat slowly coming closer and closer.
Okay, so the hag is based on the Wendigo.
And she just stands there looking, and he's right behind her.
Right. Let's see. I think I'm gonna go through the hell of trying to get a leggy on a weapon.
What?
In the beginning intro, do y'all know which killer that is?
The Trapper.
Trapper. I'll see your videos often, I don't know why.
Oh. Sorry, hold on.
Let's see. I think I'm gonna go for the Legiana. I need to check the thing. There you are. There is a bowl in front of my face.
I move it and you get a view of it.
Right. No, it's just like, and behind the bowl?
Yeah, the hag is based off the Wendigo. So,
Is it?
Yep,
Okay.
Yep, until Dawn reference right there. If you play the game.
Definite.
Yep. I mean, you can tell.
Here we are.
You can, like, different endings you can get.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I want to go for the heavy bow gun.
How are you looking at their stuff? I want to look at them.
Okay, so, the Huntress, she's Russian.
Okay.
Her real name is Anna, and
Yeah, I knew that.
yeah, her nickname is Aha, which is Russian for bear.
That's kind of cool that she's Russian, though.
I mean, it makes sense. You seen Zarya?
I mean, true. Put on my Zora set. Make sure I at least have that set. Don't I have? Yeah. Have that on.
Nancy Holbrook was Freddy's one true obsession. I didn't know that.
Want the Vital. Attack. Do I have? I want the Exploiter Charm. What?
Okay, so, you know the, lullaby that she did in humming?
Yeah.
Basically, it's a Russian lullaby called Bayuski Bayu, which meaning it warns children to not sleep on the edge of their bed, otherwise a wolf will come and drag them into the woods.
Okay, that's not completely creepy or whatever. That's not completely like
Yeah, it's a lullaby.
Yeah, the preschool is Freddy's place. The preschool is Freddy's place.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh.
Okay, so the Huntress sings her lullaby deeper and more menacing when she's not in a chase for an extended period of time.
So she gets angry.
Yep.
Okay. Makes sense.
She is the tallest female killer.
I mean, I would think that's obvious.
But no, the lullaby, yeah.
Post a new quest. Optional.
Oh yeah, she can also swing her axe with both hands too.
Okay, that's not frightening at all. Her map obviously is the mother's dwelling.
It is. She doesn't have a, she doesn't have a surname too. Yeah, she was on the bear at some point during development.
So who are you looking at right now?
the Huntress.
Have you looked at all of them?
Not yet. I was about to go check out the trapper.
I'm gonna check out the clown.
You mean the creepiest of them all?
Kenneth Chase was born in 1932 by a difficult labor, which his mother wouldn't survive, apparently. This event drove a rift between him and his father that never closed. As the boy grew, so did his father's resentment and his drinking habit. By the time Kenneth was at school, they lived mostly separate lives. Academically, he was unremarkable, coasting by on his significant athletic prowess. He grew tall and strong, excelling all track events, but shunned any attempts to coax him into team sports. On his walk home from school, he would often find feathers on the ground, and he'd soon begin a collection, keeping them in a cigar box under his bed. With his father either at work or in an alcoholic-induced stupor, Kenneth had hours to spend alone, transfixed by the regularity of the feathers, barbs, and feeling the softness as he ran them over his lips. Watching the birds that came to the feeder in the garden, he imagined how soft they must be and resolved to catch one. He ingratiated himself with the local dentist, soon procuring some anesthetic. Using this, he rigged up a trap on the feeder that he hoped would knock out a bird long enough that he could touch it. After a few failed attempts, he managed to trap a robin. As it lay in its hand, he felt a sudden rush of life at his mercy. He had planned to release it once it recovered from the anesthesia. Instead, as his eyes flickered back into consciousness and it began to struggle, his grip remained firm. His fingers slowly tightened around its throat, squeezing until its chest feathers were finally still. He disposed of the body, keeping just a feather, with which he started a new collection, discarding the others as fake. By the late 1940s, Kenneth had left school and started working as a busboy at a local diner. He had also escalated to large prey like squirrels, raccoons, and dogs, becoming skilled at customizing the anesthetic dosage for each. In early 1945, a young man went missing and the town was turned upside down in the search. A few months later, Kenneth's father, while doing some work in the crawl space into the house, found a cigar box. He broke it open and saw, to his horror, that it contained feathers, animal paws, and a man's finger. Returning from work, Kenneth saw his father leaving the crawl space with a cigar box in his hands. He turned on his heel and never went home again. After a few weeks of living rough, he encountered a traveling circus, and with his prodigious strength, he was hired to work the ropes. He assumed a new name, Jeffrey Hawk. Suddenly surrounded by a close-knit community, Jeffrey had to learn to socialize. He donned a new personality like a disguise, quickly becoming known as charming and helpful, and was welcomed in the new family. Over the next decade, he stayed with the circus, traveling the length and breadth of the USA, but with the intelligent life providing few repercussions, he fell into bad habits. Drink, junk food, drugs, he indulged all of them to excess. For a time, these vices were enough, but then his old urges returned, and his nomadic existence became a cover for him to resume killing. He stole clothes and makeup from performers, fashioning a disguise that would let him get close to his victims before he anesthetized them, bring them back to his caravan where they would awake to find themselves bound at his mercy. He would finally get to have his fun, mentally and physically torturing them, their screams fueling him before being lost in the night. Once their strength was at its lowest, he would carefully examine their fingers, searching for the prettiest, running them over his tongue to find the tastiest. Once he found the best, he would cut it from their hand and proudly add it to his collection, disposing of the rest of the body as pointless waste. Men, women, young, old, he didn't care. The essence of a good collection is the variety in the memories and stories they evoke. He removed the costume less and less, shedding his old personality with it, fully embracing the clown, his true self. With time, he became complacent and sloppy. A victim managed to work free of her bindings while he was sleeping off the drink. She escaped screaming for help, and he awoke to find the rest of the circus bearing down on him. He whipped his horse, and the caravan disappeared into the night. Since then, he has roamed the country, a parasite who could always be found at a carnival or circus, but who would never have been seen on a playbill. He lured those brave and or foolish enough to come near, trapped them, and moved on before they could be found missing. Somewhere along the way, he left the ordinary roads of the USA behind him, traveling through the veiled mist of and entertaining a new realm. It was a place of transcendence and imperance, perfectly suiting the life he had chosen to lead. Feeling more at home than he had in his entire life, he set up camp and waited for his first visitor.
Wow, talk about creepy.
Yeah, I've read all of them for the most part.
The trapper's name is Evan McMillan, and his realm is Macmillan Estate. Wow. Evan McMillan idolizes his father. It wasn't just that he was heir to a great fortune, it was that he ran the estate. Raised under his firm hand, Evan had taken to running the workforce with an iron hand. Production was always high, and the McMillan estate prospered under father and son. As Archie McMillan's mental health slowly degenerated, Evan protected him from the herd who wanted a piece of the fortune. No matter what his father asked of him, Evan would do. When Archie McMillan finally snapped, Evan became his enforcer in what would become known as the worst mass murder in modern history. It never proved that Evan led over 100 men into those dark tunnels before detonating the explosions and sealing them to their fate. The tale of the McMillan estate is a tale of wealth and power gone very wrong. How many victims fell to the hands of father and son is unknown. No record is ever made of what became of Evan McMillan. His father is another unsolved puzzle found trapped in the locked basement of his own warehouse, starred in abandonment.
So his son abandoned him and became the trapper.
Dead and abandoned, but okay.
It doesn't say dead and abandoned. It says starred.
Yes, it does. It says dead and abandoned at the end.
It says starred.
His father is another unsolved puzzle found in the basement of his own warehouse, dead and abandoned.
It shows starred and abandoned for me.
It says dead for me.
Spooky.
Right.
Alright, I'm curious about the raid.
I've read the Wraith one. It's pretty interesting, actually.
His original name was Chuckles.
Who?
Who?
The Trapper.
God.
Yeah, and the Trapper might be based on Jason Voorhees, as both characters are large and muscular men, wear masks, wear a simple yet cruel-bladed weapon, and are fiercely loyal towards one of their parents. Jason towards his mother, Evan towards his father. Also, JJ has been known to use bear traps from time to time, while the Trapper used them as a staple of his textile.
That's not too far-fetched.
Okay, so the rape. Philip Ojimo came to this country without anything than hope for a new beginning. He was happy as he got offered a job at Auto Haven Records, so we know where his map is. A small scrapyard where bribed cops turned a blind eye for the somewhat shady business that took place. Ojimo didn't care. He had seen criminal activity up close in his homeland, and as long as he didn't get involved, he let things be. He just fixed cars and handled the pressure, something he did really well. A car went in, a small metallic cube came out. It was not until one gloomy day that he, just by accident, saw some blood coming from one of the uncrushed cars. As he opened the trunk, he found a young man gagged and gagged and with tied hands with panic-filled eyes. Ojimo freed the man who managed to run 10 feet before Ojimo's boss stopped him and slit his throat. As Ojimo demanded answers, he got explained to him that he'd been nothing more than a simple executioner, as more or less every car had a soul in them, as this was the service a scrapyard provided to certain clients. Ojimo snapped and went ballistic. He threw his boss in the crusher and let it slowly compress as the head stuck out. Ojimo grabbed it and pulled the head and spine out of the body. Then he left and was never seen again. That would explain why his weapon is a head and spine. It's probably his boss.
Dars was like, oh no, I don't need to think about that. Dars is like, fuck that.
Did you read the Hillbilly?
The Hillbilly...
I was away when you were reading some of the other ones you read, so I didn't get to hear them.
The Hillbilly, yeah, he murdered both his parents.
What about the nurse?
The nurse...
You were there for that one, because you commented on it.
Yeah.
Did I?
Yep.
Oh yeah, she's the one who stood there and escaped and was never seen again out of the ambulance.
Yep.
I wonder what they wrote about Michael Myers.
That he's a stalker.
Oh, why did you come on when I clicked on him? Scared the shit out of me.
He's right behind you.
Some humans are simply bad seeds infused with a distilled and pure form of evil. Michael Myers was one of those seeds. He had no issue with causing the pain of others. Instead, it was exactly what he sought. But even life can be tough on those with minds filled with terror. The difference is just how one goes about to solve those problems. For Michael, he had to kill to find some inner peace. As he took his sister's life, the police found a silent boy dressed as a clown at the scene. When one stumbled upon a growing fire, one does not pour gasoline on it. This was an action taken by officials that had no idea how it would shape this demon in the boy's body. Sending Michael to a mental institution was a feeble attempt to save the child. Unsuccessful therapy and nightly screams just made him even more introvert and deranged. People hoped that Michael Myers would end up Parathesius, soon to be forgotten and buried, a failure that soon were to rot away, but then he escaped. His current movie's coming out.
Yeah.
So did anyone read The Cannibals?
The Cannibal... I did, I think. Wait, hold on. The Cannibal, oh, his real name is Bubba, and he's from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I remember that one.
Yeah, I remember that one. What about the doctor?
Nope, I just know the character that freaking Rudolph plays is it's from the Doctor's world.
His face up close is creepy as hell. Okay, so backstory. Showing exceptional attribute in psychology, Herman was handpicked for special training in an advanced neuroscience program located in a secret backside facility in Illinois known as the Larry Memorial Institute, really in front of the CIA. This is where Herman met Dr. Otto Stamper, where under his guidance, Herman began to use strange and ever increasingly vicious methods to extract information from previous prisoners sent to the Institute, which was also covert prison and re-education center for whoever was USA's current nemesis. His liberal use of violent electroshock therapy revealed dramatic results, and several threats to national security were uncovered. Over the years, Herman became known as the Doctor, and no one ever questioned if he had ever even held a medical certificate or even what happened to the prisoners after they had given up their information. It was only after the Larry Memorial Institute went silent for a week that the true horror was finally discovered. The personal patients and prisoners were all found dead with all types of head trauma. All personnel and prisoners' bodies were accounted for, including Dr. Otto Stamper, but no sign of Herman the Dr. Carter.
So yeah.
So, anybody read The Survivors?
I've read a couple of them. I don't remember them off the top of my head, but I know I've read some of them.
I'll read them out in order.
First one is Dwight. He's
Dwight. It's Dwight.
I don't care.
Dwight the white guy.
Dwight was geeky and scrawny through high school. He always wanted to be the one of the cool kids, but somehow never had the charisma. He tried out for the football team, but was trying. The basketball team didn't even take a look, and his grades were distinctly below average. One weekend on a team building exercise from his dead-end job, Dwight's boss led them deep into the woods before working out his family's recipe moonshot. Dwight remembered taking the first sip before waking up late the next morning all alone. During the night, the others had abandoned him. Once again, the laughingstock of the community, Dwight tried to hike his way out of the woods. That was the last anyone ever heard of Dwight Fitzgerald. Dwight isn't the typical guy you think of when somebody says survivor. He lacks that sort of pizzazz that without his glasses he's more or less blind. But as the sun sets and the woods come to life, Dwight clamps to his rat-raised life, making sure that he'll live to see another day, even though something unimaginable is after him.
I don't get all that extra stuff. After he said he was laughingstock of the community and that was the last time I ever heard from him, that's where it stops for me. Where do you get the extra?
On the Dead by Daylight official wiki.
He's on the wiki. He's getting full stories.
Yep.
Dude, I'm gonna look that up real quick.
Probably a good idea.
Because there was a lot to the doctor that was never mentioned on the game.
Are you serious? I gotta go look that up.
Something about the CIA.
Wow. Really tells you something if the CIA was involved.
Yeah.
Let's see. Da 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 da.
Oh yeah, the shock therapy attack only has a default range of 9 meters.
From an early age, Herman Carter understood the human psyche. To analyze and deconstruct something as powerful as the brain intrigued him. He was an apt pupil and gained the attention of his teachers. He excelled in high school and was published in Cartesian Psychology Gifts within a year. Carter was fast-tracked into Yale's Advanced Neuroscience Program. Relay a front for the CIA. Brain power is a must if you're about to conquer the world and demolish foes across the pond. The CIA understood this, so interrogation and intelligence became their #1 priority. All they needed were brilliant people like Carter. Carter and the other top-tier recruits were transferred off campus and into a secret black site facility in Illinois known as Larry's Memorial Institute. Protective craves a mentor. A protege craves a mentor, and that's where Mr. Stamper stepped in. He taught Carter that information is everything and knowledge is power. He was given all instruments needed, a guiding hand, and more or less everything he asked for. He never realized that sunlight had started to become so scarce that he too was kept in the dark, because knowledge doesn't only give you power, it also transforms you into a threat. To extract information was his mission. Mr. Stamper encouraged Carter to go further and not to consider this a normal medical facility. No eyes were watching them. There were no rules to abide. The agency just pointed Carter in the right direction. Then he started to take a few steps back as he saw how Carter could walk on his own. Docile type subjects were exchanged for real-life spies, people that played a role in the troubles outside the facility. Carter shouldered this new role. Project Awakening took form, and on a paper, Carter described it as experimental interrogation. It was approved, and over a few months, nobody knocked on his door. Screams and moans filled the corridor outside his cell, but were few people and what they accept. As long as the enemy is kept at bay, the fluorescent lights flickered more and more often. Electroconvulsed treatment became a standard dish on the menu. Prisoners held at the facility begged the guards to take them to any other lab but Carter's. Rumors were disregarded in the beginning. Over the years, Carter became known as the doctor, and no one ever questioned if he had even held a medical certificate or even what happened to the prisoners after they had given up their information. It was only after the Larry's Memorial Institute was silent for a week that they finally uncovered the true horror of what had happened there. Carter's experimental information extraction had turned to horrific and bizarre torture. Patients and prisoners were found dead in vegetative states, with all types of head trauma. In his office, they found the most terrible discovery of all, Mr. Stamper himself, his head peeled open, and an array of electrodes and sensors inserted into his still working but annihilated brain. There was no sign of harm in the Dr. Carter, but his research paper suggested that he had been using the prisoners as part of an awful ECT experiment as he searched for the panacea of mind control. The government didn't want to know. The black site was condemned and all knowledge of the Memorial Institute redacted forever. Damn.
Yeah.
Doesn't really
Alright,
make sense.
so-
Makes you really question shit.
Yeah. So read the survivors now.
Okay, I already read frickin' Blasphemous character.
There goes
Well,
mine.
currently
She's
I play
next.
David King.
You originally started with Dwight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have him at level 34 or something like that.
Well, Matthew, you're up for your character.
Do I gotta read it?
Or you want me to read it?
Or do you? Because I'm kind of eating still.
Okay,
Yeah, your
perhaps
camera's
it was
still
her
off.
mother that had instilled the fear streak in her, or maybe it was her father that left them when she was a baby. Meg exceeded at schoolwork, but she was off the rails. Fortunately, in athletics was encouraged her to channel her misfed energy on the track. She motivated herself into becoming a high school star and earned a scholarship to college. When her mother fell ill, Meg decided to give up her chance at college to care for the woman who had raised her. One summer's day on a long run deep in the woods, Meg vanished. Search as they did, they never found her body. Meg is one of those who is just simply filled with energy, unfocused and uncontrollable energy that had to come out. As a kid, it came through rowdiness and rebellion. Someone had to focus Meg before something went terribly wrong. Fortunately, somebody did. She started to run. Maybe from something undefined that fear her envy, so to run equal life, but to run now might attract those beings that create the pain of others, but as she runs from something instead towards it, she understands something. She understands that speed is not of the essence, it's reaching that finish line, rather last, but still breathing. She deludes whatever is out there as she glides through obstacles and fear, doesn't manage to stay alive. So basically, she's a rebel. She's a rebellious teen.
Pretty much.
She's a dark blonde.
Alright, what about Claudette?
Yeah. Well, she is one of the originals, so...
Who is Claudette?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see her in the intro. Along with freaking the white who sits there and freaks out. And I think Jake.
Yeah. And Meg too.
So that's so Meg's the one who screams in the distance.
Yeah. Okay, from the day that her parents gave Claudia her first science kit, she loved experiments. A single-minded pursuit led to an early scholarship at a great college. It was a huge decision to leave Montreal, but the choice was too good to pass up. Her introverted nature means that chat rooms and forums are now her best source of social interaction. Her new favorite activity is to answer botany questions for others under her new moniker of Science Girl. One evening during a long bus ride back from the city, Claudia took a stroll that would change her life. It only took a minute for her to get completely disoriented in the thick woods. She never found her way back. Her poem only started to wonder where she was a week after she stopped posting. Claudia is not the outgoing type. Her brilliance provides her with a social handicap, and she has fled the real world for chat rooms and forums. Botany and studies fill her life, and even though she yearns for something else, and want to come by and be with them, being thrown into a real-life situation can feel awkward and forced, but as she is used to shutting out the world, she suddenly finds hope in this unspeakable darkness that is slowly devouring her. A plant, a tree, a bush, simple greenery that might save a life, she hides within and amongst them. Her knowledge and skills flourish as gruesomeness rolls free around her.
Damn.
Yeah, it really shows
so
you what these survivors go through.
Right.
Don't you use Jake?
Yeah.
It's on your character.
Jake's character, if I remember the gist of it, is he was part of a rich family, but he didn't want anything to do with their money.
Yeah.
He's a solitary survivalist, Asian American.
Like I said, I only remember like the gist.
Growing up the son of a wealthy CEO was always going to put pressure on Jake's part. When his brother graduated with honors from Yale, the pressure on Jake intensified. Jake just wasn't the academic type, but his father never really understood his refusal to embrace the expensive education he lavished upon him. Eventually, Jake rebelled by dropping out of school entirely. Now Jake lives off of the grid on the edge of the woods. It's been years since he spoke to his father, but his mother checks in once in a while. It was she who eventually called the police. The cops said he got lost in the woods, and the search party looked for days, but gave up as bad weather rolled in. Despite passionate pleas from his mother, they never resumed the search, and Jake went down in history as another casualty of the woods. Jake's destiny was set even inside his mother's womb. Heir to wealth, noble manners, and caretaker of the family reputation and legacy. During torture is not pain that breaks a man, it's immense pressure. And Jake couldn't handle any more pressure. Instead, he sought the opposite of fine dining and maids. He left the grid and ended up with a forest of closest neighbor, a self-made outsider. Jake understands nature. He's not there to tame something, rather him become feral, remove the brutal killers that seek out blood to drain. And Jake would feel just at home. No Wi-Fi, no fortune, 500 companies, no father nor mother, years away from modern life, has given Jake a new feel for problems. Pain is just an obstacle that hinders you from getting fed. No matter what is hurting you, you need to stay one step ahead, struggle, bleed in, adapt. Just don't make it easy for others to erase you from the Earth's surface.
I mean, wouldn't you wanted to get away from your parents that were sitting there upon you? Just because your brother graduated from Yale, they expect you to do the same thing. I would do the same thing, honestly.
But would you be able to give up video games?
I'm talking about like drop out of school and everything.
Yeah, that I would do.
Okay, next up is Neil Carson. And she's Swedish. Neil is a Swedish descendant, a tagger, and a bit of a troublemaker.
You mean Mia?
Nia, whatever the fuck her name is.
I think it's actually Nee Carson.
I don't know. She started rebelling when she was 16. She dyed her hair black and cut it in a way she liked it. In her early teens, her parents thought she liked that thing that makes everybody else normal. She may have gone too far.
You okay over there?
She may have gone too far with her friends not thinking well. They her to tag the old asylum. She was never seen again. And now tries her best to survive the entity's danger. Nia grew up in the small town Ajo in Sweden. She had a happy childhood even though her mom and dad worked hard. As the opportunity to move to the US became a reality, she started acting out. Her parents didn't really pick up on it as a reaction to their move. Nell was forced to leave her friends and life behind. Nell shedded away from what her parents considered normal. Instead, she took refuge in skate parks in her tag. Mash Chicks was seen more or less all over
Mash
her
Chicks?
Mash Chicks, whatever.
That's what it looks like it says.
Was seen more or less all over her new hometown. And Nia made a sport out of tagging government buildings. Finally, Nia's parents became used to Nia's disappearing for a few days on end. As she's nimble and almost cat-like, she's able to evade deadly dangers. Years on skateboards have proven worthy training and kept her head down, avoiding the fuzz to be applied to all dangers. The only question is whether she has some interest in not giving up. And she's from the nurse story too.
How do you know that?
Because the last breath chapter is the nurse.
So they go together.
Yep.
So each killer has a survivor.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, except for the original 4.
There's 13 survivors and there's 12 killers.
Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
And they're coming out with the 13th killer, so each killer and survivor correspond somehow.
But the original 4 doesn't have a killer for them, unless it's a trapper. Ray, Hillbilly, and the Hag. Hold on. Okay, so the Trapper, Hillbilly, Ray, and the Hag is the only ones who does not got a survivor connected to them.
How so?
Because they're the original
Because
4.
they're not- yeah.
The original 4 survivors and killers don't have any connections.
Yeah, because the doctor goes for Rudolph's character. Huntress, David Kane. Michael Myers is survivor is Laurel Stride.
Laurie Strode.
Whatever.
Well, you said, like, Laurie, you said something completely different than her name. That's the only reason I said something.
Okay, so next kit one.
Is Laurel.
Laurie Strode.
Lori, whatever. I don't give a fuck about her name.
Only reason I'm
She's
passionate
from Michael
about
Myers. I just know she's from Michael Myers. That's all.
I don't even know how you're saying Laurel. I doesn't look like an L.
Well, this is her background. You never know what really matters in life until you realize it might, and soon Laura is one of those who just wants a quiet life in the suburbs, hanging out with friends, family, and maybe go on a date or two. Laura is a typical teenager. You can pass her on the street and not think twice. She does her homework and is liked by her friends, teachers, and family. A simple night of babysitting turns into something that will forever change the course of her young life. A nice swishing through air, screams from afar, noises that plays tricks with her mind, but not Laura. She's made of something strong and something that won't give up. And that's all for her freaking background.
At the very top it says, I stumbled upon another soul in this doomed corner of the earth. I do not know her name, but there is something about her. I have never crossed paths with her, but she seems as if she's been doing this for far too long, weary of the environment, clad in a kind of controlled panic, constantly looking over her shoulder, on the lookout, unknown, potentially an ex-baker who said that. Of course, she's from the Halloween chapter.
Yeah, you want to know something? She is Michael's sister.
I thought he kills his sister.
He thought he killed his sister, but she was actually put into foster care. She was rescued when she was about to die. Her name got changed to Laura.
And she is Michael Myers'
younger sister. Original name is Cynthia Myers.
Who's her killer?
Michael Myers.
Her brother.
Jesus. How'd you find that out?
They're from the same chapter. If you buy
Oh my
the,
god.
if you
Alternate
buy,
name Cynthia Myers. I'm looking at this.
like, I'm sitting here like it's obvious who her killer is. It's like,
and she's in some movies too. So.
How'd you find out she was adopted?
She was adopted by Morgan and Bella Strode, who also changed her first name to Laura.
Well, where did you find that? Because I don't see that information.